to episode 296 of the Should I Play This Game podcast for the 18th of March 2024. As always, joined by the one and only Steve Francis. How are you going, sir?
Okay. My stream deck broke.
Hey, well done.
It was working oh so well. OBS took an update and now it won't fucking work. Piece of shit. I don't know. I'll have a look around online for it and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, is what it. I've had that happen before though, occasionally, but
yeah,
mine's been relatively easy to fix. So
I don't know. We'll see what happens. What can you do? Fuck. There was gonna be. I had something else planned for like something funny, and then I forgot it. So let's not worry about that. Oh, something's wrong with me. Something.
you want me to really answer that?
Let's start the list.
Where do we start? Okay, number one.
Fucking ginger. Right, top of the list. Oh. So yeah.
So, all right.
Shall be. Yeah, I got nothing much. I got not much else.
Let's just get into
Let's
the games.
just go into the games.
Alrighty, so Satisfactory.
I seem to be missing from this thing.
Fix that one first. Oh god, bloody damn it! There we go.
Hello, there I am.
Must have missed that one before. Yeah, anyway, so yes, so I am back into Satisfactory.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, I did it just as a complete as a whim last weekend because it was Labor Day holiday in where I live in Tasmania and Victoria, I think.
I thought it was 8-hour day or some shit.
Well, same thing. It's called the same thing.
Oh,
8 hour day Labor Day. It's the same thing, just with a different name. So yeah, I thought I'd record a session. So I actually recorded a Solar Factory episode, which went up during the week. They've been the first one in nearly on almost to the dot 12 months since I did the last one.
That works out.
And it was basically, yeah, I mean, as I've explained in the video, it was just a real life got in the way and various updates from the developer. I just sort of stopped playing it for a bit until those updates sort of wound through and all the various mods got updated too. That was the big thing though, because they went from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 as a part of the update, which is a pretty big change. And basically every mod basically broke because of it. So it took a while for the community to to get around to doing that stuff, because obviously they're not paid to do it, so you got to just wait for that stuff to happen. I think all of them ones that I normally use, bar 3 or 4, were updated and now work. And the majority of those, I think 2 of them don't even need to be done anymore because they've actually put some of the functionality into the game itself, which is kind of good.
Deliberately, or did it just like coincidentally?
Deliberately, it's something. It's a request from the community to add the features, so they did. So that's fine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is there ray tracing and shit now in it?
Nah, no, I don't think. I mean, there's some stuff of Unreal 5 you can do, like there's Lumen and all that sort of fancy lighting stuff, but it's all kind of not supported, kind of a thing. So you can turn it on at your own risk, kind of thing. I was
going to say it'd probably tank.
Not really. I think the frame rate's improved since I've started playing it. The one big benefit, the one big change though, in performance wise, is that whole game the map is divided into, it's like it's divided into 5x6 squares, if that makes sense, like a 5x6 grid. And it's got like squares and like 5 across and 6 down, or 5 and 5, or 6 and 6, something like that. And every time you in the old version before the upgrade, every time you walk between a border between those blocks, the game would have to load in that entire area's assets. Right, on that borderline. That's now completely stopped. So there's no those little micro freezes that happen as you're running around. Because of Unreal Engine 5's ability to stream in the data more efficiently and more effectively, means that the whole thing's gone away. Which is sort of mean that the frame rate is now pretty stable, going from, as you go through the environment. So it's yeah, update 8 has been a big update and has been a worthwhile one and a good one for them. So it's made the game a lot more. Wasn't not that it wasn't playable before, but now it's much more playable.
Yeah,
So.
shader compilation shit in Unreal. That seems to be most of the stuttery shit that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what is the Star Wars Jedi games. Are they on Unreal?
Or are they using
Frostbite?
Are they using Frostbite? I don't know actually. Not too sure what they're using.
Not that it matters, because I know they're just like incredible. Even when I played through Jedi, Outcast is the Dark Forces game.
The first one.
What's the first one?
Is that Fallen Order?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Survivor's the newish one. Not that it's new now. But
yes, that was the last year one.
Yeah.
Apparently, it is on Unreal Engine 5.
No, it is on Unreal Engine 5. Okay.
Yeah, built using Unreal Engine 5. So they just haven't been able to sort those shader compilers out. My understanding is it's a motherfucker to do for PC in particular. If you're working on multiple, like the Xbox, PlayStation, and then PC, because obviously you got to encompass every possible configuration to allow the engine to do all that shader compilation. But yeah.
Yeah, so I'm back into Satisfactory. I'll stick to some sort of recording schedule, but I'm not going to guarantee it. So yeah, that's the. Yeah, so it's good. Just basically, this episode back was just a fuck. What did I have? How did I have this map set up before? Where did I have stuff? And the one thing they did do, which was frustrating, which I didn't realise, but it's what they occasionally do, is that they'll actually move resource nodes around. Like you've got iron ore resources and coal ore resources and that kind of stuff. They've got nodes for that sort of stuff. They actually will move them for cosmetic, whatever purposes they use them, they move them for. What that means though is if they'll keep if you're using the node that's now not there anymore, so to speak, because it's been moved, your existing infrastructure will keep working, but when you start interacting with it and removing it and trying to do stuff with it, it starts to basically stop working. And I noticed that I needed to flick. I've got a nitrogen gas node that I was tapping into to feed gas to the nuclear generator setup I have, and I thought, I just need to make this a bit better. I need to do this to it, and started to build in new pipes and stuff for it, and realizing, wait a second, where's it gone? It's not there anymore. And then I realized they'd moved it about 200 meters in the map world north of where it was, and I thought, oh fucking hell.
Is that a long distance, that 200 meters in game, or
not in game? It's not. I could see from where I was, I could see where they'd moved it to, so I could see literally how far away it was. I don't know why they moved it that small distance. I have no idea. I'm not really matters to me.
They were just like, Graham's got this real good setup. Let's fuck him off.
Fucking up. So when I realised that, I thought, oh shit, I've now got to basically do this real quickly. So yeah, probably 25, half an hour minutes later, I got it all working again after moving it. So now I've got to make all that nice and neat. It was really a real quick and dirty to get it going. Because as I said, if I hadn't done that, my nuclear generation waste management stuff would have completely stopped and died now. So then would have had a big problem in the nuclear generator. So I just had to do it real quick, quick and dirty. So yeah, next couple of videos will just be neatening that up, making it look neat, and yeah, going back to my original plan was just to got to make a really big central storage hub of all the gear that I'm making. So I'm making.
I thought you had that.
I sort of did, but it's not being fed by anything. So it's manually. You got to go manually. If I want to get some iron plates, I got to go to the iron plate factory, get them, and then bring them back to the central storage place. I want to make it all feed into it, sort of thing, automatically. So yeah, so that'll be the long-term plan over the next several months to build that up. So anyway, that's what I've been playing.
Okay, so Graham's not going to play anything else for the rest of 2024. He's just going to play status. Is there any hint on when 1.0 is dropping? It's meant to be this year.
Still this year. That's all I know.
Okay. So, yeah, nothing specific yet. All right.
I think the next update they are doing an update 9. I think they mentioned that a week or so ago. So I would imagine it'll probably be 1.0. I reckon it might be first half of this year. It might be 1.0. I suspect based on the more round. Maybe actually, nothing about it. It's March. Maybe not. But yeah, it'd be
I was
second
going to
half.
say, I sense a gambling opportunity here.
It'd be 1 point. It would be second half of the year at this point. But yeah, so yeah, so that's basically that's Satisfactory. Sea of Stars still playing through that. Really liking it. We discussed it at our Game of the Year episodes. That game is really really good. Also playing through Talos Principle 2. Nothing more to be said with that one. And the last game is the new game, and this is one that we've discussed offline, I think, if I recall.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
It's Last Epoch. It is a Diablo game, effectively. At a very
Let's not say Diablo-like. It's an action RPG.
action RPG, but it essentially plays like Diablo.
Yeah, you click on shit and it dies.
Yeah, you click on stuff and dies. I've only played it for a couple of hours, so I'm really early on in trying to figure out how the thing is different from Diablo, because that's what you've got to. These games have to make themselves different from Diablo in some way to stand out against Diablo, because Diablo, the game itself didn't land particularly well. It has got the backing and power of Blizzard behind it, so it can recover itself and get back to a decent space.
Have you played much more Diablo 4? Because we played one or two sessions.
We played a couple of sessions early on, and I bailed on it big time because they kept.
You failed on that. I fell off that thing hard.
Yeah, they kept on. Maybe they've stopped doing this now, but they kept on buffing and rebuffing and nerfing all the various balance changes. I thought this. Why would I keep playing this game when they're going to keep changing everything they do every 5 minutes? That's what it seemed like they were doing to me. So I stopped playing it. I think from what I've heard, they've stopped doing that for the most part.
Most of it seems to be seasonal. Like when the new season launches, when most of the buffing and nerfing and stuff happens.
Yeah.
And that's fairly easy to track because they do release pretty significant and pretty detailed patch notes as far as like activation, cooldowns, nerfs, things like that.
Yeah.
I've just fallen off because I played a fuck ton of that before the first season, and then the first season was like, eh.
Yeah. So comparing Last Epoch to it, the story setup I actually couldn't tell you what it is because, funnily enough, I was playing it on my PC with a controller on my big TV, so that's how I was going to play PC games if I can with a controller. And
HDMI or Steam Link?
HDMI, Steam Link's HDMI is the only way to do it with.
Steam Link's kind of a piece of shit.
Steam is okay if you can wire it. If it's Wi-Fi, doesn't work so well.
Oh yeah, okay.
So Steam Link did actually have the ability to wire it either with an actual cable. It was fine doing that, but yeah, I'm just way better with just a really long HDMI cables, just as fine. So the intro started playing and got through one line of the intro, and I moved the cursor was sitting on the virtual cursor. This game uses that thing. Was sitting on the subtitles. So I just moved that out the way a bit, and that for some reason took that as being I want to skip the intro screen. I just skipped the intro screen. so I've not seen the intro screen.
Yeah, normally when you want to skip like cutscenes and shit, they don't use the left stick. They use an A button or right trigger or something.
And you got to hold it down as it does a little. Yeah, this one moved the right stick a bit, and that seemed to make it want to skip the entire cutscene. So I've not seen the internal intro cutscenes. So anyway, that's what I think.
Maybe they just fully acknowledge that action RPG stories don't mean shit.
Maybe they don't. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't really know the setup of it, except that you as I said, I don't really know what I'm even doing. So I might go on.
You click on things until they die.
Is
that part at least entertaining?
It's okay. Yeah. I mean the game has got, and you can see it in the cover art on the YouTube video here. You've got the 5 classes, and they are set classes and set looks and genders. So you got no character customization at all.
Okay. So I don't know how I feel about that.
You can't make the middle character a female character, whatever. You can't do any of that. And then underneath one of those 5 classes, I think they use the term masteries. There's 3 sub masteries underneath each one of them that you then kind
Mm.
of choose which one you want to be, or choose what you want to do. And apparently that'll happen as a part of a story moment from what I can read. So at some point in the story, something will happen, a chapter will be completed or something, and then the game will ask me to choose one of them. Um, so yeah, so theoretically you've got 15 different characters you can essentially create in a way. Um, and then underneath that you've got your skills unlock as you level up the character. So I'm on level 8 heading towards 9, and I've unlocked three skills, I think. Maybe two. At level 1 and level 5 I think they unlocked it. I think another one's going to unlock at 10. Um, and from that you can, and then once you get into those, once you get past a certain level, you can then start specializing in, um, like upgrade those skills as well as you go along. And that skill tree looks pretty intense. Like 20 or so
Path of
items.
Exile intense, or
No, not quite that big, but like but you've got these 15 classes or subclasses, whatever you want to call it. Each of them have their own. I think they're all unique. I don't think there's any crossover between any of them. And there's 6 or 7 that I can count possible skills you can eventually unlock on each character. And then each one of those has up to 20 things you can put points into to make them behave differently, be stronger, powerful, more cooldowns, the usual stuff you get with
yeah,
skill upgrades. So there's a fair bit of depth there. So you've got the ability to to be kind of how you want it, how you want to be, in terms of tank focused, heal focused, whatever you want to sort of do with this sort of thing.
be a glass cannon.
Yeah, basically. So you can sort of, I think you've got a fair bit of, you don't have the flexibility you do in Diablo where you can choose more specifically what you want to do,
Mm.
because you're choosing a character at the beginning and go, I want to be this, and then you can go. This is a bit more regimented from the beginning because you've only got those set character classes, and then you've only got the 3 underneath it. So it's a little bit more focused or more stricter than what Diablo is and what other games can be. So yeah, look, it's performing okay on my PC. It's voice acted for the most part, from what I can tell. With voice acting, it's okay. Um, I think it's trying to do. There's even a voice that sounds very similar to one of the voices out of Diablo. So in terms of how it's
Like Deckard Cain?
No, there's that guy you meet early on in the campaign.
Lothor. I had him down as one of the best new characters for last year.
Yeah,
Uh,
you meet him in like a cabin.
Lorath.
Laura, him. So it's one. I think he might. I think they'd make it. It sounds a bit like him.
Oh, I'll just laugh if they use the same voice actor. That'd be fucking hilarious to me.
Um,
So I looked it up. It's got a level cap of 100. Now, Diablo's level cap, like you'd go XP levels standard to 50, and then it'd go Paragon 50 to 100, but it quadrupled the like treadmill to go from one level to the next. And
yeah.
then you'd like use the Paragon boards and all that sort of stuff. Like that's where it twisted the game up there.
Mm.
I'd be curious whether it stays consistent on the leveling past like a soft cap to the hard cap.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not as I said. I've only you have to, yeah, you have to look up that with people who've played it to that amount to get that beyond that point. Yeah, I mean, it's we've used this term a lot. It is one of those games. So you're.
In a good way or a bad way? Because you sort of seem like on the fence a little whether
I think
you actually like it
I'm
or not.
on I'm on the fence at the moment because I'm not really sure how easy it's going to be to understand all these skill mechanics they've got in it and all these various options you've got. Because once you understand how you build your character up, then it becomes a lot easier to say this game's good or bad because I can build it the way I want to.
Mm.
If a game has is really kind of strict and it funnels you in a particular way, once you've chosen your class, you've got no options after that, and you can't really find a class that matches what you want to play. So I'm choosing the middle character from the cover art.
You do like a barbarian.
Yeah, I do like a barbarian, and he's also the reason I picked him off the character select screen in the game was that he had this really big fucking wolf next to him as a minion character, and he's got a wolf. So I thought, that'll do. I'll go down that path. So they do have minions as sidekicks, um, and I think they can also level up as well and have points put into them and make them stronger and better and that kind of stuff. So that doesn't unlock until a certain point in the campaign, though, which is one of those masteries I talked about. I think I need to get. I
I was
need to
going to
get
say
to.
like the horse riding in
Yeah,
Diablo.
I think I need to get to that point to see what that's going to be like when you start mastering a particular subclass or whatever they call it. Before I can really say this game's good, bad, and different in terms of the gameplay moment to moment. But in terms of just walking, running around and hacking stuff up and stuff dying, it's fine. It works really, really well. Um, I haven't seen any of the really dramatic um, like effects you can see with things falling down from the sky and blowing up and stuff
Yep.
like that. I haven't had that stuff yet. But for the most part, like I think that's going to be there. It's just you got to get the skills unlocked to be able to get that stuff.
I
So
know
I
that
bought.
barbarian has a tornado style, like the swing around.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I haven't. Yeah,
Oh, you
haven't
haven't
gone.
got that yet?
I
Okay.
haven't got that yet. I don't know if he's got that either. But
I've seen it in video.
okay, fair enough. Yeah. So like in terms of the moment to moment stuff, it's absolutely fine. It's really quite. It's it's the same as Diablo's moment to moment stuff was really good as well. Um, it's a structured interesting that you've got, and I'm not so sure how this works in game yet because I haven't sort of unpacked this as part of the story or the game or the story. But it seems to have the map. You open up the map screen,
Mm.
and the map will have the locations you can also got the waypoint stuff you've got in Diablo. You can sort of fast travel and stuff like that. But at the top of the map screen, it's got like uh, times. Like I'm currently in, they're saying 12 VE, I think they're calling it. I think.
Oh, like sort of era
Yeah,
type.
like you can even apparently you can kick onto these errors and the map changes. It's implying there's some sort of time jump,
Time
mass
dilation, time
time,
loop, sort
but
of.
not that. It's like jumping forward thousands of years or back thousands of years. Time jumps, not just.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure how that plays into it either, but that's what the map's implying. But again, nothing's really, as I said, the intro story might explain everything to me that I
Mm.
completely fucking missed. So I probably should go and hunt that out after the record, um, just to show what that. I'm curious what that might mean, if anything. Um, so yeah, like it's got me intrigued as to how the game is going to be structured once I hit that ability to open up one of those mastery, processes or bits. Um, but yeah, as I said, the moment to moment stuff's absolutely fine. Looks really good, plays really well. I'm getting 120 plus frames a second on the PC, so its performance is pretty solid. There
What's the loot
is
like?
what's that?
What's
The
the
loot?
loot like?
Yeah, the loot's okay. You've got the same problem you have with all these games that if you go to a store and buy, you're probably going to get not the best gear, but decent gear, but you're going to find better gear out in the world.
Mm.
Um, you've got sort of upgrade things you can do to the weapons, which I don't fully get now, don't, because I've only just started to get into that. They've got a very good. It must be said they've got a very good game guide built into the game, which goes through all of the
Like a
like
manual?
like a manual essentially. Like it's really really quite good. Um,
I think I heard about this. It's kind of like a wiki sort of thing
it's like
in game.
yeah, it's like you literally go start menu, game
Mm.
guide, and then it breaks down combat, the various sort of subcategories of the game, and then it opens up into more things, and then opens up and even has friggin' I saw one of the things I was looking at earlier had I can't remember what I was in, but it was like the formula that the game uses to calculate the damage or whatever it was I was looking at the time, like on the screen,
Huh.
and even had A is this and X is like explain what the formula was and how you plunk your values into it, which is always something that the community sort of figures out over time what that maths is, but this is seemingly just here's the mass in front of you. Go.
So if you were mathematically inclined, you could figure it out.
You could figure it out. I mean,
but if you were mathematically inclined, you could also figure out if they were full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it's got some. Yeah, as I said, I only just stumbled across that when I was looking at it before we started recording. Because I wanted to get my head. Because the other thing I was struggling with playing it on my big PC was some of the writing was hard to read because of how small it was on my big screen. So.
Yeah, UI scaling is something that's.
Yeah, it's not in the game that I could tell. But
is there no UI scaling in the options?
I couldn't see one. I looked for it, but I couldn't see it.
Oh, okay.
So, so the other thing that's interesting, this game landed with a bit of with issues because it's an online game, but it does have an offline mode. Oh, that's just really confusing. You've just changed ranks on me. That's really odd.
No, yeah, I've got to. Yeah. Sometimes I'll double fist it, and like I'll have like a Sunkist and the Pepsi Max, and I'll alternate between the two. See, it would have been even better if I hadn't even acknowledged it and just gone, I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah, so the game has an offline mode, and your character is offline. So if you start an online session, your offline character is not available to you. They're completely separate.
Oh.
So if you start an offline session, your offline character is available to you, and you can obviously, open them up and start playing with those characters. But online, they are not there. So I think that's probably I can see why they've done it. I think I can understand why they do that, because if you have the potential of using offline characters online, I think it opens up the cheating potential. But as a thing they could do, you hack your offline character to make it better online. Maybe, I don't know.
There is also like Diablo had a few different like people who were playing on the hardcore mode, where it's like one death dead, and like a disconnect counted as a death, and they lost hours worth of progress by a disconnect.
Yeah. So this gets away from
still happens.
Still happens, but this gets away from that being a thing. So the only thing that's had in terms of, so I haven't done an online session yet, because I said the character would be new one if I did that. I've had one weird bug though. So I've died maybe 3 times, maybe 4. I think 3. Actually 4 times. Twice the respawn thing happened and I was able to respawn and keep going, sort of thing. Twice though, the character died. Nothing came up on screen saying you died. The body's on the ground dead. Game's not doing anything, but I'm pressing the action buttons and the icon of the toolbar is doing those actions. So
is the ability still coming out?
No, nothing was happening.
Damn it!
But the icon was like the toolbar was recording my fact.
It was indicating there was
that I'd done that action, but not actually doing anything. So
action courts would be way cooler.
Yeah. So whether I'm pressing a button and cancelling something that's happening as I'm dead, I'm not too sure. There might be some sort of last surviving button to press to make it, I don't know, recover or revive yourself. I don't know. And that's bugging out for something. But I have went online onto the Steam discussion forums for the game, which is, if you don't want to slowly see your faith in the
your worldview completely crumble and your faith in humanity just die.
Don't ever do that. Especially for games like this landed in a particular way. So. But I did a search of that and did find people had this bug before, so it does appear to be a bug. The one person actually said if you teleport out, that works apparently. So I don't know how you teleport when you're dead.
Oh fuck yeah!
So I don't know how that would work. But one person did say that as an option, but I don't know how that would.
Corpse teleporting.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I've. Yeah. So in terms of that, it's other than that weird issue, it's been fine from that. But as I said, I'm playing offline, so it's probably not as affected by any of the online stuff that's happening. But yeah, whether I'll stick to it, I don't know. I did buy it as a part of the sale, but it wasn't on sale. So because they've got is it spring? What are they calling it?
Spring sale.
Spring sale. So that's on now. So I bought it as a part of that because I happened to be buying stuff, so I thought, bugger it, I might as well get it since we had talked about playing it potentially as a video. So I thought I might as well get it. You're probably going to be on, isn't going to be on sale anytime soon, so I thought I'd pick it up. So yeah, so I picked it as part of that sale. Yeah.
How
So
many other games did you buy on sale?
So the games I bought on sale were, let me double check. I bought that one, as I said. I bought, as I look around what I bought High Rise City, which is a City Skylines competitor. So I'll have a look at that to see what that's like. That was on sale, actually on sale. The United Penguin Kingdom.
Yep, I was wondering when you were going to get to that.
That's that I bought that. That was on. Pretty sure that was on sale. Let me check that. Pretty sure that was on sale.
I wouldn't have thought it only came out like a week or two ago. It wouldn't have been on much of a discount, would it?
It was only 10%, so it wasn't that much, but it was.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's the same as Baldur's Gate discount.
SimCity 3000 Unlimited. That got released by EA. I think earlier this week. So that was. I bought that.
I think like mid to late last week, EA dropped a bunch of older games like the Dungeon Keeper games, a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, so that came out last week, or a couple of weeks ago. That was 60% off, but it was already $7.50, so it wasn't a big dollar amount to start with. That was $3. So I thought, bugger it, I'll buy that.
It's almost, when they're that cheap, it's almost like stupid not to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I spend like 5 times this on lunch at least. Fuck this.
Exactly. The game you and I looked at last week in our checkout, the Minami Lane, I bought that for $7.50. For some reason, it was there. The big one I bought, the biggest game that I bought was Last Train Home. Which
okay.
A demo on. I played the demo. I don't think we did a video of it. No, I think we discussed
it. We haven't done anything with it.
On that one, that was a weirdly 34% off.
Sometime, did you have that on a wish list?
Yes, I did. Yep.
So sometimes on your wish list, the 34% part will come up because the wish list will surface the best price, not the actual individual item price. So what will happen sometimes is the best price will be it's discounted at a weird percentage like that as part of a bundle.
Yeah, I bought a digital deluxe bundle thingy. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll include that and like maybe another game or two or something weird like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you've already got one of the games, but here, fuck it, have another discount. Okay.
This was the game, some of the DLC and soundtrack and art book is what I was part of the bundle.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So I bought those. Yeah, they're the ones I bought. Those ones. Yeah, and Last Epoch as well. It was on there as well. So yeah, I didn't spend a lot of money overall, but yeah, like I don't need to spend I don't buy a lot of the games during the sale because there's no point buying games I don't think I'm ever going to play. But yeah, so I bought a few games there that I wanted to get back to. So I'll be curious to see if, just as a side effect, what that what the Penguin game, what that actually how that plays out beyond the demo that we showed off a couple of months back. I would like to actually we should do a video on the Last Train Home. That's a really interesting game. We should do a video on that at some point.
I've heard really pretty good things about it.
I'll get back into it and have a play it again to get my head back into it again because it's been a couple of months since I played the demo. But that's one to get into. But other than that, that's all I have played. So I guess we should do your stuff.
Yeah, most of what I bought was like early access shit or like fairly cheap, relatively older things. And then I bought four things that were new on release like a week, like 5 days before the sale started because I'm clever. So, these things happen. I played a little bit more Prince of Persia. Not a massive amount more. I've been sort of sidetracked and distracted by a couple of games, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But that game's still really cool. I've gotten at least another couple of abilities that have opened up the traversal a bit more. That game's still really good.
Yeah, it is a good game. I mean, the one thing that's disappointing is probably not quite the phrase to use. The story's really delivered very stiltily.
Oh, it's not particularly great story.
Not great story, not great writing, very stilted in delivery and stuff like that. I think the way they deliver it with those sort of
The talking head sort of visual novelty style.
I think that leads to being really stilted delivery because it's like play audio, play audio, play audio. It doesn't flow particularly well. So where the little
it doesn't feel like a conversation. It just feels like two people talking one at a time.
One at a time. So whereas they do the actual animated cutscenes, which are really quite good, but then they do these sort of stilted delivery of lines and stuff. Anyway, but no. So what sort of percentage completion are you up to now? You must be into the 20s and 30s, I imagine, or even more.
No, I think I'm about 50, 60.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think I'm about 14, 16 hours, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't played, I played a bit more since last week, last time we recorded one of these, but literally, I haven't played it since last weekend, and that's largely because of two games I'm going to get to in a sec. But I have put a little bit more time into it. I'm still really digging it. There's not really much more to say about it right now. It's just there's some decent little moments that happen.
Yeah.
But like the actual overall writing quality is pretty basic.
Yeah, it's basic. Yeah. The game
but
plays what drives
this is the sort of game that I don't think needs the strongest story ever, because the exploration and the combat is more than satisfying enough for me.
But a game like Ori and the Blind Forest says that a story can be a really big component.
Oh yeah.
So they can do better than what they've done, I think. But
yes,
the game itself is what is really bloody good to play. So it's definitely got that going for it. So yeah.
Indeed. So that leads us to this fucking thing. Last weekend. Was it last? No. Maybe the weekend after the podcast. I can't remember which. After I played some Prince of Persia for a little bit, I'm like, I want something different. I played Prince of Persia for a couple of hours. I'm like, I want to play something different. And I wanted something that was supposedly short, but different-ish from Prince of Persia.
Mm-hmm.
I settled on Wrath, Aeon of Ruin, which is a quote-unquote boomer shooter, which is a terrible term, but it's the best sort of description for it as well, which is annoying. It came out of early access recently, and it was meant to be fairly short. But it's not particularly good, to the point where I played a little bit of it. I'm like, I'm not digging this. Fuck this. I opened up OBS and then recorded a spur of the moment checkout of it, which is up on the YouTube channel. There's a weird, off feeling about the actual feel of it. The movements there's a little bit of a glidiness or coastiness to it, where you kind of feel like you're on skates a little bit, just enough to make it feel awkward. And there's also a bit of weird animation, not necessarily graphical stutteriness in the frame rate, but the actual movement, it's not particularly fluid. Okay, but it's also not the big, chunky, bulky movement like something like a Warhammer bolt gun was.
Yeah. It's
really hard to describe what it is that feels off about the actual movement and playing it, outside of if you play it, then you'll go, oh, yep, okay.
You can,
yep.
Keep talking.
The other part...
Do something with Gus. You keep talking.
Oh, doggy's wanting to hang out. The other part of it is that, and I said this a few times in the checkout, is that you can tell that these developers really loved themselves some Quake, but they also thought that Quake needed big, massive open areas and open scale areas to sort of connect some of the more tunnel-based, or more tighter, more sort of, almost not necessarily claustrophobic, but sort of tighter pathways, passageways, things like that. And it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Because it led to progression in the level feeling more almost luck than actual proper progression. Okay. You sort of stumble your way into where you're meant to go.
Yeah, okay.
So that was a bit shit. And the one part that really shat me is outside of... So I would put 60 to 70% of the enemies are spawned in by teleports.
Yep.
Or portals, rather than just having them like naturally inhabit the environment, which is kind of like, yeah, okay, fine. You can kind of do like Quake does a bit of that.
They just appear there in front of you, sort of thing.
Oh, you'll see the red portal drop them off.
Oh, okay. So you do get some teleport. The thing they're going to happen. They're going to appear. Okay. Yeah.
It's just the 60 to 70% of them just go. Whoop, bloop.
No. Okay.
I was like, yeah, great. So yeah, the checkout ended up being about 45 minutes to an hour. It's not it. It's not the one, which is really disappointing because I was looking forward to this, but you know, these fucking things happen. There's still more titles. These
like the game. Looking at the developers, it's got 3D Realms, which is from God. Are they from the?
That's like late 90s, late 90s, early aughts.
Early aughts, and
they're more of a publishing label now. I think
Yeah.
the former THQ Nordic or maybe Embracer even has bought the 3D Realms name and just used it as a publishing label.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's that label that they use to go like, hey, here's old school first-person shooters.
Yep.
And just sticking with that label because that's what 3D Realms really sort of traded in.
That's what they did
in their day.
In their day, yeah.
Like Terminal Velocity or Rise of the Triad.
Rise of the Triad is one that comes to mind to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Rise of the Triad I don't think is particularly good.
Nah, none of those games were that good, but that's what they.
You can be a dog.
They were. That's what they were at the time. So they were.
Yeah.
They haven't aged well. That's for sure.
No. And yeah, this doesn't do it. This isn't it. There are a few more of these type of games coming out later within this year, so I'm hopeful that they turn out to be a bit better than this one does. And I'm still waiting for like a Fallen Aces is one I'm really still waiting for, which was a demo that came out a few years back. That sort of noir detective age type thing where it was very cel shaded, animated, and looked really, really cool.
That's a shooter?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It was, that thing was dope. I accidentally stumbled into a channel on YouTube that, like, I think it's called Best Indie Games or something like that, where I don't like listening to the dude speak. So I'll just skip through and look at each video, each game he's focusing on.
Yeah.
He did a video with top factory games of 2024 and top builders of 2024 that I almost sent you the link to as well.
I don't need that. I've got enough. And I've got my own sources to find those games anyway, so.
Anyway. Oh, hey.
Still playing that? Okay, still playing.
Yeah, but nowhere. Balatro. Nowhere near as much as I have done. Like this last week, literally this last week, I barely touched Balatro. I finished another couple of runs, I think on Monday after work. So you had to unlock the challenges. You needed to finish 5 different runs with the decks that were available. So I finally did that. And some of the challenges just look fucked. Which of course they do. But that game's still really great. To the point where my laptop, I bought a new laptop for work because my work laptop's being a piece of shit. And I installed Steam on there. And Balatro was one of the games I installed on it. And I think I installed maybe 8 games on it. All the Jackbox ones, Balatro, and 1 or 2 others. One that I haven't played yet, but one that I'm going to talk about in a moment. This is one of the 2 games that has really taken a big chunk of my time. Good old Pacific Drive. I have... Where is... Uh-oh. There we go. I've got 16.2 hours in this thing in the last 2 weeks. And that's my entire time playing it. It's very, very good. You have a station wagon. You're investigating these weird sort of temporal anomalies and trying to figure out. You get sucked into this weird sort of sciencey. What even is it? It's like an alternate reality or an alternate dimension. And you're trying to get out, and you've got these 3 different people talking you through how to get out and setting you on different sort of missions to go, hey, go investigate this. The one I just finished was go investigate this dude's lab. But there's also, you just drive and find items to build your car and build things on your car, and the survival-y kind of elements. But it's more a mobile base than actually building up a proper base like Minecraft.
Okay. Yep.
There's just enough of the survival elements to just keep me invested without being overbearing. And there's the maintenance of the car, which you run into some shit that fucks your car up. Sometimes you run over and you get a flat tire and you have to fix it.
So what's the I'm looking for? When you're doing the runs out into the, I assume it's open world kind of environment you're going into, or is it sort of a set place where you are based on the story's progression?
It's not like they seem to be procedurally generated, because I've been to the same places multiple times and they seem to be different every time.
Okay.
So there's a roguelike element to it, a run-based element to it, where you start, every time you finish a mission, every time you go out and you finish doing what you do, you go through these portals that bring you back to this auto shop.
Yep.
Which is your main base of operations, and like you have like a matter deconstructor, a workbench where you can build things to chuck on the car, all that sort of stuff. Then you select a route you want to go on, and it's like, okay, I want to go here. It passes through a few zones, so you drive through each of the zones, picking up items and different crafting materials and stuff as you go. And sometimes you can choose to follow the mission, or you can just go, this is an area I haven't been to yet. Let's go here, and because there's obviously a bunch of upgrading stuff to do. So about 2/3 of my time playing it has been the mission part stuff.
Yep.
And the other third is, I'm going to go here, get some resources, get some stuff, so I can come back and try and upgrade some of the things I can put on the car. Like, I've got all of the storage add-ons to the racks added to the car now. You can add 2 racks on each side and 2 on the roof. There's the different trees. There's a lot of different sort of tech trees that you can upgrade with energy that you find in the different environments. And as you get deeper into the zone, that energy changes and goes from stable energy, unstable energy, corrupted energy.
Okay.
I haven't run into any corrupted energy yet, and that stable energy is what's used to, you feed it into the fabricator, and that's how you unlock blueprints for shit to build, or bigger base type mechanical things that you can chuck in the garage. And
what's the jeopardy as you're out in the world?
What do you mean?
What's hunting you down? What's trying to kill you? Anything or nothing?
So it's less adversarial than that. There isn't it's more environmental than it is sort of enemy based.
Okay.
There are a few things in the environment that'll like roll around and latch onto your car, but again, they're more environmental. They're more like sort of, they call things like dust bunnies and electrical bunnies like sort of rolling balls that have these weird little tentacle things coming off them that just latch onto the car.
You
can pick them up.
Do you ever get out of the car?
Yep.
Oh, you do? Okay, so you can get out of the car.
You get out you can get out of the car whenever you want.
Okay.
And the car will get quirks to it. Like, I had one where when I shut the boot, the horn would honk.
Okay. That's random. That happens, or is that always going to happen? Is that always going to happen at a certain point, or is that
no idea? I believe it's sort of random based on what happens.
Okay.
I had one where if I turned the steering wheel too far, the lights would dim. The headlights would dim.
Okay.
I had those are the 2 main ones, and there's like a mechanic that you go through to diagnose these quirks.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've got a couple quirks currently on my car, but I have no idea what they are yet, so I don't really know the actual how to diagnose them yet.
Yeah.
There's a sort of relaxation point to it. It's just enough of that Minecraft aimlessness to an extent.
Yeah.
But it's very much, the areas you go to are relatively contained.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you have the environmental stuff kick in to, like, you can't stay in any one area for too long, because then this electrical sort of storm will come in.
Yep.
And then when it's time to bail, you then have to click on a gateway, like a sort of, which becomes the portal in the sky, like that you can see in the key art here. that's you're driving into that to get warped back to
Yep.
the garage.
The garage. Okay.
But when you do that, it activates this big ass storm. That the first wave comes over you, it's sort of radiation based. But then the second wave comes through, it's like even more like it's very much more severe radiation, much more severe like weather effects, things like that.
And that's the jeopardy. That's the
Yeah.
the enemy, quote unquote, is an environmental thing. There's nothing
Yep.
shooting you with a. There's no animals attacking you when you get out of the car.
It's very much that post-apocalyptic sort of vibe of hey, there's this bouncing ball of acid, and as it bounces around, it splashes acid pods all over the joint to blow up and spread all acid over your car. That's the most fucked up one so far. I had a time where I ran into some acid got all over. Well, I had acid jump over the car a bunch of times. Part of it, I'll get back to the saving part in a sec. And like the acid fucks up your fuel tanks.
Oh, okay. Yep.
To the point where I couldn't put fuel in the car.
No, okay. Yep.
Because supposedly there was no fuel cap.
Okay.
So and because it only saves either at any point when you want to in the garage, or when you enter a new zone.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So you can't just save out in the field. So I was kind of worried about when we were going to start recording today, because I was like out in the field doing like one of the story missions.
Yep.
I'm like, uh-oh. And I fucked my car up big time. Like you get this damage indicator on the dashboard, and like it goes from blue, like a bluey green, to yellow to red, and like 2/3 of the panels on the car are red. I'm like, oh shit. The one thing that's a bit of a bummer is that each of the sectors, so each sector connects to the next one along.
Yep.
But you can't use the sectors as a connective point between one to the next unless you've been there before.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So you have to go there first, then go back to the garage before you can use that sector as a connective part to the next stop along.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Which, it's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, some of the achievements are pretty great. There's a friendly dumpster, which might be one of the best new characters of 2024. You go to the dumpster, you hold the use, and it'll spit out things that mostly you need.
Yeah, okay.
And it just goes, bleh, bleh. And then if you use it more than a couple... Sorry?
You go.
If you use the dumpster more than a couple of times, it'll open the lid for a little bit and go, no! And slam the lid down. I'm like, that's pretty great.
Is there anyone else in the environment that you're interacting with? Like other people?
There's no people.
No, okay. Interesting. Okay.
You're stuck in this zone. You have 3 people talking to you over the radio or over this headset or whatever, but that's it. That's the only human interaction there is.
Okay.
Because this is a desolate fucking wasteland. Some anomaly or something happened, and that's part of what you're trying to figure out. You're trying to figure out what happened, what caused all this, but also how do you get out of this?
Yeah, yep.
So, yeah, it's
definitely a game that's got me very, very, very intrigued to play.
I'm really enjoying it. Like you can, because most of the time when you're going on a run, when you're going to a sector, by the time you've finished doing what you're doing, it's between 15 and 45 to an hour minutes. So it was pretty decent for after work. For like you do one run, maybe two,
and then that's enough for the session sort of thing that you're out. Yeah.
But also there's that part of, well, it's not even that's enough. It's more, oh shit, now it's time to make dinner.
Yeah,
whereas now it's more,
it's a good amount of time to do one run sort of thing, and that's a decent
1 or 2 run, get some materials. Whereas now all my playing of it this week or the last like 2 weeks, after about the first few days was okay, 3, 4, 5 hour chunks on the fucking weekend. Because like, alright, I want to keep going. Yeah. The other game that really, really has chewed the fuck out of my time. Ball Blasters. So we talked about, So we've talked about, where am I? There. Yeah, there we go. We talked a bit about this in the last episode because its release was pending. And I'm like, this isn't showing up anywhere. What the fuck? And it came out. I have 100%ed it in the space of about a week. In about 14 hours. So basically, you're a little helicopter piloted by dwarves. There's a real Deep Rock Galactic vibe to it. And you eventually unlock 3 different dwarves in there. They have different abilities. And you just basically start at the top and fly your way down, shoot your way down to shoot a bunch of gems to get currency and then get to the bottom. And it's like, all right, let's bail. But as you're doing that, you're given different quests and different enemies to kill, different resources to mine, stuff like that. About 3/4 to 80% of the way in, I'd finished all the quests, but I still had a bunch of missions, levels left.
Mm-hmm.
So I just played through the rest of that because I wanted to get the 100%. So now I've got all the achievements. What are you still? Oh, there we go. All right, you are. Jesus Christ! Because you didn't move or say anything, I thought something shat itself on the internet.
No, I'm just.
So I'm like, is Graham talking? Is Graham still there? What's going on?
I was waiting for you to stop talking. I could actually ask because I'm now looking at a video on the Steam store page. Like you look at, you're controlling like a helicopter looking thing.
Yeah, it's a little helicopter type thing.
Yeah, and you're just what's the purpose of each? Is it run based? Is it mission based? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Run based with some missions given to you.
Okay. And you just need to get to a certain point, or just until you die, until you.
You dig your way down. There is a bottom, but you can die or run out of fuel.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you run out of fuel, you die.
Yep.
And it's just about mining as much shit as you can with the fuel you've got, and being able to get out and extract with that. Even if you do fail a run, you do carry over. You keep the currency you got on that run.
Yep.
So that's pretty handy. But yeah, it hasn't reviewed the best. Like most of what I've seen, it's sort of sitting on an average of about sort of 75%. Because when you
positive.
Hey,
84% positive now on Steam.
But I'm talking like on Open Critic as far as critic reviews online.
Yep.
Because the end game as it stands, particularly once you get past the point of I've upgraded everything possible on the ship, I've done all the quests, now I'm just completing these levels just for the sake of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There are plans to add more end game content soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when that's happening, but it's one of the things the developers posted on Steam that it is due to come soon. But for me, part of it is, like I said, like with Deep Rock Galactic, there's that real satisfaction for me of shooting things and then just the mining part to get resources to buy upgrades. That's as far as my mining interest goes. It's like, I want to get these upgrades. I want to hit these rocks. Because sometimes that's just real chill. I don't go past that for the factory automation, things like that, you've got on with Satisfactory. There is one game I'm thinking about nabbing. It just came out recently, so it's not on sale. But it's a clicker that also has some factory automation stuff to it.
Yeah.
Called 64.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Ooh, that looks actually quite interesting. Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it's pretty cheap too. It's like $8.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about grabbing that because it's been a while since I played a decent idle game, and maybe the automation part's not quite as complex as Satisfactory or a Factorio or something like that.
I can't imagine how it could be based on the type of game that it is. So yeah, that's.
But
I saw that game and I thought, ooh, that looks interesting. Yeah.
For me, the flying around of the helicopter and the shooting of the rocks, shooting enemies, and doing the gem mining in this is really, really satisfying. And it just has a really great feel to it. So yeah, I've lost a lot of time this week to ball blasters. Which I've now since 100%. So yeah, mate. Now I can go back to Prince of Persia, maybe. Oh, that's it. I thought that. Wait, wasn't there one more I had? Was there? Oh shit! I'm an idiot and forgot to add it to my list. Minami Lane.
Oh, okay. Add it to now.
We did the checkout. That is up on the YouTube. Sorry?
Add it now. Add it to the
site
now.
Can I?
Yep, of course you can. Yeah, so this, just not on screen though. Minimize that.
Uh-oh.
Tell you what, I'll do this. I'll do that. Yeah, do it.
There we go. I was like all confused because I'm streaming, like behind the curtain, streaming this to you. It's like, oh god, what am I doing? Oh shit! Now it just froze with like just, oh no. Yeah, we did the checkout with Manami Lane and Summer House. Manami Lane's actually a pretty good after work game. Because most of because the missions are half hour, 45 minutes or so. No, I pressed the wrong button there. Yeah, because they're between half hour, 45 minutes, then it's really quite simple to go through, do one mission, all right, cool, next thing.
Yeah.
And there's that sort of coziness to it. And it is relatively short. I think I'm maybe halfway through it based on achievements. But yeah, it's like you build up little lanes. You get put in lanes with certain conditions. You have to find this little guy each day, and that gives you currency. You pick up trash, that gives you currency.
Yep.
I've unlocked the cats, so cats walk on screen. Yep. You have to click on them to pat them.
Yep.
That gives you currency.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like I haven't played it as much in the latter half of this week because of Ball Blasters. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a really.
It's just a nice sort of cool, chill vibe, but just a really pleasant art style.
Yeah, no, it's of the two that we looked at in that session, that was definitely the standout by. By quite a long way actually.
Summer House is more a toy than it is an actual game.
Yeah, sandbox rather than a game per se. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my played games. I've actually bought more games in the last 2 weeks than I have played. Because a bunch of shit came out. I haven't played them yet. We've talked about this plenty of times. I tend to wait a good month or two after release at least to play most games, new games.
Yeah,
for them to get some patching and some tidying up some stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that's it.
Cool.
Press the button again.
Let's do that button then.
Something I should have asked before, because you did the intro. Technically, you're hosting.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do this button. So that is the beginning of the end music. So yeah, we've got. So we put a video up early last week with our mini Amy Lane and Summer House checkouts. Wednesday up went up episode 16 of Solar Factory. You probably did a Friday night fun.
I did indeed do a Friday night stream
last night, I suspect, a couple of days ago. So that's up. We're going to try and record something after this. We're not too sure what it's going to be just yet. We haven't got a lot of time to do it. We'll figure something out. That'll probably go up midweek after this. And then next week we another Friday night fun from Steve on Friday, and then we'll do some more checkout videos probably on the Sunday this time next week for us, which will feed us into the week after that. So, and then we're back into the podcast the week after that. So yeah, that's our schedule.
I was going to ask if we should look at April's games, but we've got literally we record on the 31st.
Yeah, so we'll do that one. We'll do April's games on that episode. But yeah, that is basically going to be it for episode 296 of the Should I Play This Game podcast. Anything else from you before we head off in must listens? You didn't have any done? No.
I've got one. But the more I've listened to it, it's sort of diminishing returns. It was really, really impressive. Sorry?
The list becomes a must listen and maybe listen?
It's not. I'm not going to say it's quite a must listen, but it is still very, very good. It's an album called. Helps if I turn my phone over the right way. No. Fuck me. I'm all. I wasn't going to say any. I wasn't going to do it, and then we. Yeah. Scroll down. There we go. Relinquished is the album by a band called Cogitations.
Mm-hmm.
Very heavy, but like the diminishing returns is sort of there's a sameness to the vocal delivery throughout most of it. which that sort of wears a little bit. That's why I don't really like Die Hard is Murder or Slaughter to Prevail as much as other people, because the vocal delivery stays mostly the same. There's not that tonal variation.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. That Cogitations album's pretty good, but man, that Job for a Cowboy album's still fucking incredible. As is that new Enterprise Earth one. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Alrighty then. Until the next...
That sounded almost Irish.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Until the next podcast in a couple of weeks' time, that'll be the end of episode 296 of the Should I Play This Game podcast. Once again, thank you very much, Steve. Press the button. There we go. Bye.
Press button.
Press button.
Press button.